Okay, this is part two, restoration, introduction to the restoration, section three. Uh, yeah, today's talk could be a short. The history of the providence of restoration and I. So this is the last part of the introduction to the restoration. Uh, Okay, so this divine principle said, as an individual, each one of us is a product of the history of the providence of restoration. Right? So it says we are the product of history. Behind us, entire history, such a long time history exists. So then we are the fruit of that long time human history. Hence, the person who is to accomplish the purpose of history is none other than I, myself. So principle is making sure that, that we are the one who has to accomplish the purpose of history. So that's why we know this one now. So this is such a amazing time of the history. Then we are called by God. Then we now got to understand the God's purpose of creation and God's purpose of restoration, providence. So we are the one who accomplish the purpose of history. Right? I must take up the cross of history and accept responsibility to fulfill its calling. To this end, I must fulfill in my lifetime, horizontally, through my efforts, the indemnity conditions which have accumulated through the long course of the providence of restoration vertically. Right, like this. So this is the human history, vertical one. No, vertically means historically, right? So then I am the product of the human history. Then, throughout the history, many people came out. I mean, many people got life and went to the spirit world. Many saints and sages, central figures, somebody had a really important mission or a small mission, right? So they did something, they failed, or all kinds of things happen. So those things are accumulated throughout the history. Then I am here. So then my mission, we are called by God. So my mission is to restore everything accumulated in the human history, then to accomplish the purpose of their history, right? Purpose of the history is restoration, restore everything, and then come back to God and to realize their God's idea. That's the purpose of the history, right? So in order to do that, we have to fulfill indemnity conditions, in order to restore everything horizontally. And horizontally means in my lifetime. We say horizontally. So that means in my lifetime. Okay. So like in my lifetime, before I go to the spirit world, so we are supposed to fulfill all the indemnity conditions to restore all the failure of the history. So that's that is us. Like we have that kind of mission. So only by doing this can I stand proudly as the fruit of history, the one whom God has eagerly sought throughout his providence. In other words, I must restore through indemnity during my own generation, right, my own lifetime, all the accomplished and unaccomplished missions of past prophets and saints who were called in their time to carry the cross of restoration. Like sounds so big. So including those like the mission of past prophets and saints. So like that's right. We have like incredible people in our history, but we are not separated from them, right? They carried some kind of God's providence, and they had a mission, and many times, right, they could not accomplish it, right? So somehow they did some, they failed some, but that because of those like central figures, then the history was carried out, led by God. Then some did good, some did not so good. However, so now we are here, right? So then we are here in order to we are here because we are called by God. Then we have mission. We have a mission, right, to accomplish the purpose of the history. That means if some prophet or saints had an accomplished mission, then somebody has to accomplish it. Like the John the Baptist came to accomplish the Elijah's mission. Elijah could not fulfill it, so then John the Baptist came, right? And unfortunately, John the Baptist also did not fulfill it, could not fulfill it. But somebody has to fulfill it in order to cleanse the history, in order to, like that's clean up everything, right? That restoring everything means clean up everything, Like when John the Baptist failed or somebody failed, right? That's hard God. And that's a result was the Jesus crucifixion. That's hard God's, the really hard God's heart. Then that's a lot of pain, right? Causes lots of pain to God, right? So somebody has to comfort God. Somebody has to comfort God through indemnifying it, right? That the indemnifying it means, if like somebody got to have the mission like John the Baptist, so then the same kind of same kind of the challenge comes, but that person has to overcome it, indemnify it, right? Then become a victorious person. Then that person can comfort God. That's the only way. So that is an indemnity cost. That's an indemnity. We have to go through their reversal costs. Then John, like that. Not only the John the Baptist, many people we gonna study. Probably from now on. So you're gonna go through their Adam's family, Noah's family, Abraham's, the Jacob, Isaac, and Joseph, Moses, all those people. They did something, then those people around there, at the time, they had a mission, failed, they had a mission, accomplished something, right? All kinds of things happen. So then everything, like on us now. So we are going to go through the same kind of process, and through that, then so we are indemnifying the past saint and sages mistake. Now we are fulfilling the accomplished mission of past prophet and saints. Right? So that's why we are here. God called each one of us. Right? Otherwise, I cannot become the individual who completes the purpose of the providence of restoration. This is why we are here. We are going to complete the purpose of the providence of restoration, right? So that's now. So we have to do that because this is the time of the Lord of second coming, right? So this is the time. So to become such a historical victor, so we need to become. We are going to be. You have to become the historical victor. I must understand clearly the heart of God. So in order to be a victorious person, we must understand clearly the heart of God. So I think this is such a deep statement, but This ultimate issue is there. God has such a pain in his heart. From the since the Adam and Eve's fall, then God called so many people, but that many times they couldn't do so good, or they had to go through such a difficult course. Looking at them is like so painful, and when they made a mistake, right? Then God feels pain too at that time. So then when we a little bit study about Reverend Moon's life or True Mother's life, so their ultimate purpose is to liberate God, because they understand that God is the God of suffering, a God of pain. Therefore, they wants to liberate God from that pain, right? So that's the ultimate purpose. That's when we say indemnifying everything and restore everything and the accomplish the purpose of the human history means, through realizing God's ideal, then we liberate God, So that's why the motivation of why we want to be a historical victor, why we want to be a victorious person, because when we understand clearly the heart of God, then how he went through the human history with the prophet and saints. When we understand such a God, right, then we want to fail. We don't want to fail anymore. So we want to be a victorious, right? So that's the only way we can liberate God, and so like therefore we need to study the principle, study the human history, try to understand that when God was with Isaac, when he was with Abraham, when he was with the Moses, what kind of course God had to go through, so and we need to really understand that. So then when we are standing similar kind of a situation, then we don't want to fail. Even though we don't want to fail, but we do a lot of mistakes. Of course, that's true. But eventually we have a chance. Before we die, we have to be what we want to be. We really want to be the victorious person. Yeah, the original. Also, we need to know the original purpose for which God called them. Deeper understanding why He called them, and the details of the providential missions which He entrusted to them. So all those, the very deep content, like we need to really understand in order for us to become a victorious person, right? Without knowing this, if we are just like trying, like doing my best to live in this life, just doing something for God according to your own little understanding, that we can't be victorious, right? When we study the fall of man, unless like we really understand what is a Satan's crime, then how Satan is going to destroy me. We need to know that. Otherwise, we can be the victim of the Satan. So we need to know this kind of things. So we cannot be there just ignorant, right? Yet there is no one among fallen humanity who can become such a historical victor by his efforts alone. We cannot, because we are fallen humanity. We are fallen, right? We are under the Satan's domain. We cannot be the victorious person by myself. For this reason, we must understand all these things through Christ at the second advent, who comes to fulfill the providence of restoration. So now we need a Messiah. In order for us to become the victorious person, we need the Messiah, because Messiah is the only one who knew these things. Without him, we have no idea, right? We have no idea without the Messiah. He is the only one who can teach all those things. Moreover, when we believe in him, become one with him, and attend him in his work, we can stand in the position of having fulfilled horizontally with him the vertical indemnity condition in the history of the providence of restoration. So we believe in him, then become one with the Messiah, then we attend him, right? That's a important word here. Attend him, right? Be with him all the time, live with the Messiah, then together we do their work together with him, right? Through that, then we can accomplish our purpose of their history. So we can fulfill horizontally with the Messiah, fulfill the vertical indemnity condition in the history of the providence of restoration, right? In my lifetime. Horizontally means in my lifetime with him, with the Messiah. So that is our position. That is our position. So I am here, then we have a history behind, so then we are going to fulfill everything horizontally in my lifetime. But we need the Messiah. We can do that with the Messiah, right? So that's that's why important. I mean, that's why we need to know clearly about the Messiah. Then we have to really learn from him, because he is the only one who knew this kind of secret of their secret. Okay, the path which all past saints walked as they strove to fulfill God's providential will is the very path we must walk again today. Yeah. So we must, it says, a strong word, we must walk again today. So we're gonna study about all kinds of people, right? There are many, many amazing people there. So then, of course, like we learned lots of mistakes and we learned a lot of lessons, but that we can learn lots of amazing things from them. So somehow that we must walk, that kind of path. We too, not only them, their story is not their story only. The story, that's not just a story, right? So that's a real kind of, we may go through the really similar course as they experienced. Beyond that, then we must continue on to the end of the path, even walking trails they left untrodden, right? So because they never made it, they on the way, then they kind of failed many times, or they were not able to receive the Messiah at their lifetime. They couldn't really go, right? So that means we still do not have the ideal world. So they could not go through everything. So nobody went, all the way. Nobody. So we need to learn, from them a lot. Then also we have to really becoming a victorious person. Then actually, right beyond that, we must continue on to the end of the path. We have to go to the end of the path, right? Finish, accomplish. Actually, nobody went there yet. Nobody walked the path yet, right? But we need to do that with the Messiah, right? So that is like our mission. That is our life, right? Therefore, fallen people can never find the path that leads to life without understanding the particulars of the providence of restoration. Herein lies the reason why we must study the principle of restoration in detail. Yeah, this is the introduction of the, the part 2. And that's why we need to learn a lot from their past history. So now, right. So this is the overview, right? Already, like we went through this one last week. So we are, we can receive the Messiah. I mean, that in order to receive them, in order to receive Jesus. So like from Abraham, 2,000 years, the human history, 2,000 years. Basically, if this is a Jesus, actually, this, when we look back the history, this is the Old Testament age, the New Testament age, then Jesus is here in one another diagram, but basically, in order to restore the Messiah, in order to restore the foundation for the Messiah, right, we need to set some kind of condition, which is the foundation of faith, foundation of substance. Throughout the Jewish history, they did that all the time. That is their only one purpose. How can they establish the foundation for the Messiah? Then eventually, after 2,000 years of Israel history, then God was able to send Jesus. Yeah. So then the Christian history is the same. How can they establish a foundation for the Messiah, right? The same thing. So then, actually, when we receive the Messiah now, I mean, we already studied, this is the time of the Messiah. Then, right, last time. So I talked about this a little bit, right? This path, 2,000 years human history, is not just the human the history of the human being, right? We or I have to, or I am going I have to go through this path in order for me to receive the Messiah, right? That's this course of human history, and my own history, my own restoration history is basically the same. At least the principle is the same. So in order for me to receive the Messiah, we need certain condition, So okay, that's kind of, I think it's some kind of important things to understand this one. Like if I was able to meet the Messiah, right? Why I'm able to meet the Messiah, and then I could study the divine principle, which is the truth. Then somehow I got to understand God's heart and the secret of the human history. Why is that? That's not because I made a condition. So maybe my testimony. Like I didn't do anything, right? So that's something, I had something behind me. So then historically some kind of condition was made, behind, the Michelle, behind John, Sarah, Cora, that we all have certain amazing people behind. So, in the divine principle in other chapter, so we talked about that. Without that, we do not have enough condition. If we have a lots of condition that the Satan accuse, then the Satan will keep me, But somehow, because of the our ancestors, our lineage, people in my lineage, they made certain kind of conditions. Therefore, God was able to use it, right? So then we are called by God. Right. So then even God called me, if I do not respond, then God cannot do anything. Right. So, but I responded, and you guys responded to God, right? That's a good thing. Then after you responded to God, then actually, again, you have to go through this one. You need to establish your own foundation for the Messiah. Your own foundation for the Messiah to truly receive the Messiah. So then what does that mean? That receiving Messiah means, that's the divine principle said, through the Messiah we gain rebirth, right? Reborn into the God's direct dominion, God's lineage. So, restore the position before the fall. So that is a blessing. So, through the blessing, so we can restore the position before the fall, right? So that's amazing thing. Then how can we do that, right? So that's then we have to think. That's why we need to study the principle. That's the Adam's family, Noah's family, Abraham's family, Moses' cause. Everything is for the establishment of the foundation for the Messiah. So if I want to separate from Satan, then if I want to be a good person so that I can receive the Messiah, then come back to their God's lineage, right? I need to be a victorious in some sense, in some degree. I have to be victorious. If we losing the faith in God all the time, no good, right? So that was always challenge in Adam's family, Noah's family, Abraham's family. How can we keep the faith in God, right? That's always a battle. Satan always try to destroy my faith. That's a battle all the time, right? Then we want to be victorious. Then how? We need to study. We need to learn from those people, who were put in the same kind of position and how they struggle, how they could overcome, how they failed, So that's that. Then we learn something. Then we become more like a wise, clever. Then we get strength, right? Then we learn so many things, So right. So then that's how like we may keep their faith in God, right, all the time. Then how can we love one another? Cain and Abel story. Cain and Abel, Jacob and Esau. If we study a lot, that's amazing story there. So how we can gain the love unity, right? If we are just living, I don't like this person, I don't like this person, so bye, then I don't deal with it. Or he hates me, okay, bye. I don't want to deal with that. Then that's I just deal with my nice friend and nothing else. So if we live that kind of life, then that you not honest. That's it's not so nice to say this, but if we are just living like that, no challenge, we are dealing with only your favorite people, right? How can Satan, like that let you go? Anybody can live like that. Jesus said, you can be nice to your friend. Anybody can be like that. Anybody, evil people, selfish people, they can do that nice things to their own friends, right? That's even a Satan can do that, right? In that sense. Then if we are living only like that, then the Satan will not let you go. The Satan will not let you go. So then that's why we have to learn that. So when we want to receive the Messiah, we will face that challenge. When we receive the blessing, when we receive the Messiah, when we want to go up, come closer to God, then we will face the challenge. That's no choice. We will face a challenge. Then we have to overcome it. God wants you to overcome it. God wants me to overcome it. So that's why we study the principle. Then learn. What happened? With the Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Joseph, Moses, right? So then we learn a lot. Then it's like that's amazing story there. So then if we know some, then we have more weapon or God, and we can reject Satan, and we can be victorious, right? So when we study the principle, when we study the history, like that, the ultimate purpose of learning is that, in order for me to become victorious, that's why we have to study. That's why we need to know. That's why the Messiah is revealing the truth of the human history. Yeah. So then, okay, let's say, then see, no matter how so many things we can learn from the history, but nobody go through this last part. Nobody, right? Zero. I mean, we are doing it. we are doing it. Some of us are doing it, after we receive the blessing. So we are moving this way. Then, it's not so easy again. Then we have the book, Divine Principle book. We can learn so many things. Then still we can learn a lot of things, but that's some, like this period, right? Still we are moving toward the end goal, right? Like the Divine Principle said, right? That's why we have to what did he say? We have to move on the path that nobody have walked yet, right? We have to go through that together with the Messiah, together with the Messiah. Okay? So that is our course too. All of us, we go through that, then reach here. Can we reach there? Then we have to reach there. I mean, that's why we have the Messiah. The reason why the Messiah come. We have the Messiah, Lord of Second Coming. Jesus came 2,000 years ago. He couldn't make it. So now then the Lord of Second Coming came. Then this is a time that we, go beyond this line, then together with the Messiah, walk then accomplish the purpose of their history, Right. So that's, that in that case, like that, we have lots of things to learn. Always. We have lots of things to learn. Then after you master the divine principle in some way, then you learn so many things through the divine principle. Then another one is waiting for you. So you have to study the true father's cause, true parents' cause. Then they are showing how can we go through this last part of the course and how we can accomplish the purpose of creation, So that's, but that's, I don't know, that we had an incredible long human history. Then the divine principle is saying, let's do that in my lifetime. Let's do everything in my lifetime, right? So that is the divine principle is saying. So we do that, everything in my lifetime, in your lifetime. So that's amazing thing. Then that's amazing. So that's we can do that. I mean, if you were born 200 years ago, you can never make it, no matter how good you are, right? If you are born 1,000 years ago, there, no way. Now we are here. Then so you are, you now the divine principle. You know the secret of the human history. So you know God, right? So knowing not enough. So we have to practice it. Then we have to be victorious, make the foundation for the Messiah. Then then meet the Messiah. Then after that, then we live together with the Messiah. So Messiah is living with God, right? Messiah is living with God. That's why we know what kind of life look like, how people can live with God, talking to God, reporting God. Then when God is joyful, you are joyful. When God is crying, then you cry. When you are crying, then God cry. When you are happy, then God is happy. When you are joyful, then God is joyful. That is the God and the man relationship. The Messiah is doing it. Messiah is living that kind of life, So that's only Messiah, only Jesus, and only the Messiah, only true parents are living that kind of life. So, but they're doing it. So then we are supposed to do that. We are supposed to become like that, right? That is the purpose of the providence of restoration. That's why we need to study the divine principle and the true parents course. right? So that's okay. That's an introduction to the restoration. We have a little bit time. That's why I want to talk about this one. One thing, first lesson from their history, right? Foundation of faith. It says, I don't know, from the beginning to the end, no change. So this, okay, when we talk about the, that's especially we can learn this one from when we study the Abraham's course. Okay, yeah. Of course, it's always like this is the formula, or this is the principle of indemnity condition. How can we make the indemnity condition and restore the foundation of faith, right? So, then how, like when we apply that to our daily life, the thing is this, just right, that when we talk about the foundation of faith, believing in God, believing in God is not enough, of course, maybe you know that, right? Because like even you said, I believe in God, then you can do bad things. You say, oh, I believe in God, I know he exists, right? But you still can do bad things, right? So the foundation of faith is more than that. Then also, that the very important point of the faith is this, like do you remember the Abraham or offering of Isaac, Abraham's offering of Isaac, right? Then of course, like there are lots of things we can learn from that. Lots of things we can learn from that, right? But the one important thing is this: Abraham did not change his mind, or like he did not think maybe I shouldn't do that, right? So when he got mission, or when he was told by God, you offer your son Isaac, right? Then so he decided to do that. Amazing determination. Okay, well, of course, like he struggled, right? He struggled, probably. Most likely he struggled. Because how can you offer your own son? Even though that is a God's order, right? So you can't refuse it. He knew that, but of course he cannot decide that right away. He had to go through struggling, right? So he struggled. Then so he decided, okay, I'm gonna do God. Then he decided. Now he decided to do that. Then because then he had to call his son. Then they bring something. Then so like they start the journey to their place where he should make the altar and put his son on the altar. Right, the 3 days journey, 3 days journey, I guess, to the Mount Moriah, right? So 3 days journey. So 3 days, it's not so short, actually. 3 days and being with the son, right? Such a cute, obedient, faithful young boy walking together. He, of course, Isaac is not a little boy, so he's a young man and who can think, right? So then walking together, right? Walking together, right? Struggle. Yeah, you can imagine struggle, right? So then, oh my God, oh my God, I have to offer this son. Oh, I have to offer this son, right? So then that's sad, right? That's why, like, when they are working together, Abraham was not happy. Of course, not happy. He is sad. He is so painful. Serious, right? So then Isaac could see that, and Abraham is not like usual father. He is not normal. What's going on, right? So Abraham internally struggling a lot, right? But the important point is this: he never tried to try. He never changed his mind. He never thought, oh, should I do that? Or oh, I decided to do that, but I don't think I can do that. Maybe I should forget about this, you know. Maybe like I should forget about this. I didn't know God is like this. I didn't know God was nice, but He's not nice. You know, then why I have to do that? You know, maybe I shouldn't do that, right? Of course, Abraham was struggling. However, he was not struggling like that, right? That kind of struggling, right? We understand, right? Okay, I decided to do that. But maybe like 1 hour later, oh, should I do that? Well, next day, you know, should I really do that? You know, God says so. God said I should do that. But then I decided, but I don't know if I can do this. You know, it's too hard. You know, oh, that's too much, God. You know, maybe, you know, I didn't know you are like this. You know, if you are like this, then I'm gonna go away from you. You know, right? That's for us many times like that. You know, if that is hard, you know, if God is asking me to do their difficult thing, right? um, you know, I came 1986. I was 29 years old. Then, you know, then because, you know, then I was kind of told to go to America to help some kind of big convention in America, right? Um, you know, America, right? I couldn't speak any English. No, of course, like I didn't really start. I did not really like struggle to come, you know. But some people struggle, you know. Then we know that. Okay, it says okay, just be there for 3 months, but could be 3 years, could be 30 years. Who knows? You know, like when you are with the Messiah, you don't know. So right, that's kind of fear there. Um, right. So then even though like some people decided, okay, I go, you know, no money, no English, nothing, no guarantee, nothing, no insurance. I don't know. Insurance? Do you have insurance at the time? Oh, I don't know. But you know, then I right, somehow okay. If that is God's will, I'll do that. Right. 2 days later, actually, that's kind of so difficult. It looks so not really easy. You know that's maybe that's too much for me. You know, that's going to the you know, Kyushu to Hokkaido is not so much, but you know that Japan to America is too much. Maybe I can't do that. God, then change the mind. You know, that kind of stuff happens so many times. You know, like even though you decide once, but later on, so like you struggle, do or not, do or not, do or not. Then I decide, oh, I'm not gonna do that. Then but somebody passes it. Okay, look, you know, so you decided to go. Then why you change the mind? Then you change the mind again. Then okay, I'll do that, right? So that right, can you imagine that kind of struggling? You know, even that like you decided to do, but struggle a lot. You know, we tend to struggle. We tend to change my mind, right? That the Abraham, then the great things about Abraham is that even though he struggled, but he did not struggle if he should do or not. He did not struggle about that. His determination to do it never changed. Never changed. He struggled because doing such things is so hard, so painful, right? But he did not shake. He decided to do it. Entire 3 days journey with Isaac, he never ever changed his mind. His determination never changed, right? So that is the indemnity. Okay, that that becomes the indemnity condition, you know. So you know that's in a true sense, right? You know, you don't listen to Satan. You don't listen to Satan. If some kind of the temptation come, then also you reject it. You reject it, right away. No invasion, right? That is the keeping the faith. That is the we call the foundation of faith, right? So that's why like I changed my mind 2-3 times. Abraham decided not to do it, then change the mind again. Okay, I'm gonna do this. Change the mind again. Oh, I can't do that. Then change the mind again. Oh, maybe I should do that. Then eventually, so he did it. After going through back and forth. Then that's not the it's not gonna be the indemnity condition to restore the faith, because he lost the faith during those 3 days. Certain period you have to keep the faith, right? Certain period. That's the foundation of faith. So this kind of thing, yeah. It's maybe small things, but this is something like we can learn. That's Satan's coming, but if you decide to do something with God, then keep it. That's important. Right? Maybe we are weak. We cannot do so perfectly, but like that, if we do that, then that's my weak point. I change my mind all the time, so often, right? So that's my weak point. Then like you really pray for that. Then so you become stronger, right? So then like you can do better. Then you can be victorious eventually. So this is one example that why we need to study the human history, and what we need to know what happened when Abraham was there, when Noah was there, when what kind of a course Moses went through, what that kind of we need to really understand that, so that we can really go through this course. We really go through this course. Then we have to reach here. This one. This is the goal, right? This one. Yeah. That's our goal. Then we have to make it. We will make it. Yeah. So that's a very important thing. We will make it, because we have all kinds of wisdom now, and the Messiah is with us. Then so they are guiding us step by step. So we will reach here. Such a long time, human history, long time, but this is the end of time. This is the last stage. The history will change, right? Centering on the Messiah, right? So, okay. So we are going to study continuously, because we want to be a victorious person. We are going to be a victor, right? Historical victor. No? Aju? All right. Thank you.
Adieu.